environment thrive at the same time by using our brains, by using technology, science, and innovation so that we can have a good quality of life for humankind and enhance the environment. And we do that by giving grants to people who are using science to further the environment and also have us thrive. And we also give awards, and we have in the past done symposia on this subject. So thank you again for being here. Thank you for supporting the Lindbergh Foundation. And we also are going to tonight explore the latest technological innovations in my favorite field, aviation. And it's probably your favorite field too. By the way, I am asked to tell you that the auction is closed. So at this moment, the auction is closed. And before we go any further, we would like to extend our thanks to the sponsors tonight, including this magnificent Golden Wings Museum. I would like to also thank the Ballistic Recovery Systems, Spire Federal Credit Union, and Knox Bridges. Now, we have a good percentage of the board members of the Lindbergh Foundation here tonight, so I'm going to read the names of the board members and ask you to stand, and if you're able, to stay standing. So I'd like to start off with the person who's going to have the most difficulty standing that long, Knox Bridges. Can you show where you are, and please stand. Okay, there's Knox Bridges, Martha King, and she is standing up. Greg Marionak, Dave Chinas, Daniel Stoltz, Larry Williams, Judy Schiff, Lars Lindbergh, Miles O'Brien, Sean Dorsch, Edward Knapp, John Peterson, and Michael Parfit. And who have I forgotten? I don't think anybody. I want to tell you that these are extraordinary people, and folks, who did I miss? Oh, Linden Blue. I'm challenged when it comes to reading. Anybody else? What an extraordinary group of people this is, and we have tremendous resources, and we intend to take advantage of these resources as time goes on. Next, I've already introduced Miles O'Brien. He stood up as one of the board members, and he is a CNN correspondent and, as you know, Lindbergh Foundation director, and he's going to be our master of ceremonies this evening. And Miles has served on the board now for 2 years, but his real job is going out and winning Emmys. He's a broadcast news veteran, and he happens to have, to our benefit, a passion for aviation and space technology and the environment. And he's a perfect fit for us and to be our MC tonight. We're grateful for his dedication to the foundation. So please give a warm welcome to the handsome, brilliant, good-looking, intelligent Miles O'Brien.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here. I feel like a kid in a candy store in this place. Have you guys checked out the Tri-Motor? I hope everybody has. You know, these planes are not pickled and parked. They all fly. And that is the oldest flying airplane in the country, right there. Or is it in the world? Country, world. It's old, and it flies. It was flown by Harry Brooks, Ford's chief pilot. We don't know who he is, but it still was a special plane in the Ford fleet. It carried Charles Lindbergh's mother to Mexico City to see her son, and Charles Lindbergh himself flew that airplane. Unfortunately, the keeper of these wonderful airplanes is not with us tonight. He couldn't be here. I wonder where he keeps the keys. We could spool it up. Greg Herrick is the man responsible for this. His wife is the winner of a big award tonight. His attendance at that event trumps our pig pull here. And of course, that wasn't even a close call. The married men in the room know about that. So enjoy the planes, don't kick the tires too hard. And we thank Greg Herrick for having us here. Give him a round of applause, even though he can't hear it. As John mentioned, we at the Lindbergh Foundation celebrate and embrace a philosophy of stewardship of our little spaceship Earth that is optimistic and pragmatic, and we celebrate our collective ingenuity. The Lindberghs believe technology and protecting the environment are not at odds. To the contrary, they believed, and we agree as a board, and our organization agrees, that our bright ideas are our salvation. And that's why we give research grants to some of the brightest minds with some of the most innovative ideas to tackle some of our most important problems facing our planet. It's all about balance, and our next guest is about balance. Weights and balances, that is. He's the innovator of the Spectrum 33. It's a new light business jet. It's built using a revolutionary graphite epoxy construction, which means it's real light. The process gives it virtually the same cabin size as most jets that would give you 8 to 9 seats, but at 2/3 the weight. It's designed to cruise at 45,000 feet at 415 knots. It'll fly 2,000 nautical miles, and it uses about half the fuel of a comparable airplane. Not bad. I wish I had about $3 million to spare for that one. Please welcome the chairman of Spectrum Aeronautical. He happens to be also the vice chairman of General Atomics. You might have heard about that company. He's also a Lindbergh Foundation director, Linden Blue.
Thanks, Miles. It's a little coincidental that here we're in the Spectrum Hangar and we're going to talk about Spectrum. And I thought originally, well, we'll talk a little bit about history, but my gosh, in this place, this is history. And it's so much fun to be here. I've gotten a lot of really good ideas from looking at these designs. I'm sure Alan Clapmeyer has as well. I can't help but think if we could maybe put corrugated wings on our Spectrum, we might get a few knots more speed or something. Anyway, on the history bit, when you think about the way airplanes have been made, there have only been 2 material systems used since the beginning of the Wright brothers. And one was fabric and wood and tubular steel. And then along in the 30s came aluminum. And of course we could give credit to the Ford here for aluminum, but compared to the DC-3, it was a little on the crude side. But when you look at that history, it really came into its own in World War II when, if we can, there we go, Rosie the Riveter came on stage. And here's a picture of Rosie and her sidekick, bucking rivets. And that's sort of the way it was in World War II, and that's the way it is in the Boeing factory today. And so Rosie, if she was inclined, she'd be about 98 now, could be up to speed at break time in the aluminum factories building airplanes. Well, we imagine that there's a better material after that 70, 80 year period, and it is advanced composites. The reason for that is that composites really do everything better than aluminum, with the exception of conducting electricity. And that we have to deal with lightning protection in a different way, but it's quite a solvable opportunity. When you think about different materials, the Ford Model T is a great example. And the Model T, everybody knows about mass production and how that changed the industrial world, but it was also changing the materials. Vanadium steel in the axles, that suddenly made them more durable. Prior to that time, automobiles were sort of toys for the rich. Not true with the Model T. And when they changed the system, look at what they did to the numbers here. Went from 14,000 14,000 cars in 1909. By 1922, only 13 years later, 1,384,000, 100 times more cars in a 13-year period. Well, that's what happens. That's what can happen when you change materials like that. And again, Alan Klapmeyer has proven it with the Cirrus, where he came from almost nowhere a few short years ago to dominance in that period because he changed to a better material. Now,